Hello friends, my name's Leila Serikova. I am your English teacher. Welcome to our lesson. Look at the picture and choose how you feel today. For example, I feel excited because we are going to learn something interesting today. What about you? Do you feel surprised? Or impatient? Maybe happy? Boys and girls, how do you feel? Now, look at these pictures. Do you know who and what they are? The first picture. Who is this? This is Martin Luther King. Do you know who he was? What is his role in the history of the USA? Probably you know that he was an American activist and leader in the civil rights movements. The next picture is Coca-Cola drink. What about the origin of this drink? It was originated in Atlanta. Neil Armstrong. Who is he? Right, he is an American astronaut. I think you have already guessed what the topic of the lesson is. Today we are going to talk about the history of the USA, events, people and objects in the picture. So, today by the end of the lesson, you will be able to raise your awareness about the history of the USA, to enlarge your vocabulary related to the history of the USA, to develop reading and speaking skills. As you can see from the objectives of the lesson today, we are going to read. Before we start reading a text, let's learn some new words. There are 7 words we are going to learn. Now, look at the picture and match it with an appropriate word from the list. It is the word number 5. Cotton. A plant grown in warm countries for the soft, white, fibrous substance around its seeds that are used to make clothes and thread. Do people eat this plant? No, they don't. Do they pick it and make clothes? Yes, they do. Now listen to me. Cotton. Cotton. How many syllables are there? Yes, there are 2 syllables. Which syllable is stressed, the first or the second? The first one. Listen to an example. From the age of 6, she worked in the fields, picking cotton. We can also use this word in the following combinations of words. Cotton fields, cotton plantations, cotton farm, cotton plants. Look at the next picture. Match it with the correct word. It is the word number 1. Brain. The organ inside the head that controls movements, thought, memory, and feeling. Does the organ help people to think? Yes, it does. What part of the body is it in? It is inside the head. Look at the example of a sentence with this word. The human brain is a complex organ. Now, listen to the next definitions and match them with the words. A person who is owned by another person and is forced to work for them. The practice of having slave. And the correct answer is number 4. Slave. A person who is owned by another person and is forced to work for them. Are slaves free from control of other people? No, they aren't. Listen to an example with this word. Prisoners of war were regularly sold as slaves. There are some collocations with this word. Slave owners, freed slaves. The word slavery. It means the practice of having slave. Is slavery positive practice? No, because people are not free. Listen. Slavery, slavery. How many syllables are there? Yes, 2. Which syllable is stressed? The first. There is a phrase, to be sold into slavery. The next definition is to get to a place, especially at the end of a journey. And the correct answer is number 7. It is the verb to arrive. If people arrive someplace, do they reach it at the end of a journey? Yes, they do. Is the word depart a synonym or antonym of the word arrive? It's an antonym. Listen. Arrive, arrive. How many syllables are there? Yes, there are 2 syllables. Which syllable is stressed? The second. Listen to an example. I was pleased to hear you arrived home safely. There are some collocations with this word. To arrive early for a meeting. To arrive late for a meeting. Arrive in. For example, she'll arrive in New York at noon. Arrive at. For example, the train arrived at the station 20 minutes late. The next definition is the time when a country gains freedom from political control by another country. And the correct answer is number 2. It is a noun. Independence. If a country has independence, is it under political control of other countries? No, it isn't. It is free from control of other countries. Is it time when a country has its own government? Yes, it is. Now listen. Independence. Independence. How many syllables are there? There are 4 syllables. Which syllable is stressed? The third one. Now repeat. Independence. Independence. There are some phrases. Independence celebrations. The first elections since independence. The next explanation is to fail to win. To fail to win a war. The correct answer is number 6. It is the verb to lose. If people lose a competition, do they get a prize? No, they don't. Is to lose an antonym of to win? Yes, it is. Listen. Lose. U is long. It's an irregular verb. There are three forms. Lose, lost, lost. The phrase is to lose something. For example, so far they haven't lost a game. The phrases are to lose a race, to lose an election, to lose a battle, to lose a war. The last definition for today is having the same rights or being treated the same as other people without differences such as race, religion, etc. The correct answer is number 3. It's an adjective equal. When people are equal to each other, do they have the same status and rights? Yes, they do. Do they have different opportunities? No, the same. Now listen. Equal. Equal. How many syllables are there? There are 2 syllables. Where is the stress? The first syllable. There is a sentence and a phrase with this word. I believe everyone is born equal. A society where women and men are equal partners. Now you're going to read 6 facts about the history of the USA. You will see 6 pictures. Read a fact and match it with an appropriate picture. In 1886, Dr. Pemberton made one of the most famous drinks in the world to help the brain. The fact is about the picture number 5. The next fact is 1776. After a war with Britain, America became an independent country. Americans wrote the Declaration of Independence and designed a new flag, the Stars and Stripes. The correct picture is number 6. The third fact is 1963. Martin Luther King, the leader of the Black Civil Rights Movement in the USA, gave his famous speech, I Have a Dream. He wanted black people and white people to be equal at school and at work in the USA. This fact is about picture number 1. Now, read the next fact. 1969. The first people on the moon were 3 American astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Ed Collins. The fact is about the picture number 4. The next fact is from 1861 to 1865. For 4 years, there was a civil war in the USA between the northern and the southern states. The war was about the slaves who worked on the cotton and sugar farms. The South lost the war and the government stopped slavery. The correct picture is number 2. And the last fact is 1620. These are the first people from England who arrived in America. They left England because of religious problems. The fact is about the picture number 3. Here are all the facts with the pictures. Now look at the 6 statements and read them to understand. Number 1. Coca-Cola is called help the brain drink. Number 2. Americans wrote the Declaration of Independence in 1886. Martin Luther King was an American astronaut. Number 4. The first people on the moon were 2 people. Number 5. The civil war between the northern and the southern states was about the slaves who worked on the cotton and sugar farms. Number 6. The first people who came to America were from France. You have to read the facts again and decide if the following statements are true or false. If the statement is false, you have to correct it. On your screens, you will see all 6 facts and the statement one by one. So let's start with the first one. Coca-Cola is called help the brain drink. The statement is true. The second statement is Americans wrote the Declaration of Independence in 1886. The statement is false because Americans wrote the Declaration of Independence in 1776. The next statement is Martin Luther King was an American astronaut. It is false. He was the leader of the Black Civil Rights Movement. Statement number 4 is the first people on the moon were 2 people. The statement is false. There were first 3 people on the moon. The fifth statement is the civil war between the northern and the southern states was about the slaves who worked on the cotton and sugar farms. The statement is true. And the last statement is the first people who came to America were from France. It is a false statement because they were from England. These are all the correct answers. Good job! So, my dear friends, today you have tried your awareness about the history of the USA, enlarged your vocabulary related to the history of the USA, developed your reading and speaking skills. Hope you enjoyed our lesson. It's time to say goodbye.